moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning to all our viewers. Good morning, good morning. Today is April 4th, 2025, Friday, April the 4th, 2025. Welcome to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. I'm your host, Akinlabi Holder. I hope that you all are up and ready to go. This is the last working day of the week. I hope you're up and ready to go. And for those of you that are now stepping out of your bed, now rolling out of your beds, get some tea, get some coffee, eat a little biscuit, and let's get ready to have these discussions that we're going to have this morning. But before we dive into any of our activities for the day, we go to the news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Akinlabi. Here's your news in 90 seconds for Friday, April 4, 2025. It's nomination day. Candidates across the country will officially file their nominations to contest the 41 seats in the House of Representatives ahead of the April 28 general election. This process, often lively and festive, involves filing nominations forms, party endorsements, and paying a $5,000 deposit. Parties expected to contest include PNM, NTA, Patriotic Front, and a UNC-led coalition featuring PEP, Love, OWTU, and the COP. While in Tobago, options include PNM, TPP, PDP, Patriotic Front, IDA, APP, UTP, and an independent candidate. Chief Elections Officer Fern Narcis Scope confirmed that the Elections and Boundaries Commissions is prepared for today. Tobago Updates will bring live coverage of the process in Tobago. Prime Minister Stuart Young announced yesterday at a post-cabinet briefing ex gratia payments would be made to the families of divers Kazim Ali Jr., Yusuf Henry, Rishi Nagasar, and Yuzal Kurban, who died in the 2022 Paria pipeline tragedy, as well as survivor Christopher Budram. Young said the cabinet approved the $1 million payments per person, while insurers for Paria fuel trading and LMCS must still reserve liability. He stressed the gesture isn't an admission of fault, but recognition of the tragedy, noting no sum can truly compensate the families for their loss and trauma. And finally, Trade Minister Paula Gopi-Skoon confirmed that Trinidad and Tobago and the U.S. will engage in ongoing talks to review the new 10% import tariff imposed by the U.S. effective April 9th. While the tariff applies broadly, Trinidad and Tobago's exports have received the lowest reciprocal rates, with key exports like crude oil and natural gas exempted. Preliminary analysis shows 47% of TNT's exports to the U.S. remain unaffected. Prime Minister Stuart Young emphasized it's too early to assess full impact and noted CARICOM leaders will meet on April 11th to address the issue collectively. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you very much for that news in 90 seconds, Biana. And I just want to get into a little chat about nomination day. Today is the day to hand in the nominations for all the candidates going up for the general elections.
Yes.
And we expect a bit of excitement in the air. Will you be following the action on the ground?
I'm not on the ground, but I'll be taking in the live from Tobago Updates to see, what's the happenings on the grounds.
Yes, so all the action will be here on live on Tobago Updates. And we have quite a number of persons going up for seats both in the East and the West. It's a crowded field, Biana.
Yes, it is. But may the best person win.
Well, we're hoping so. We know we have a bit of leading candidates, candidates from the People's National Movement as well as the TPP.
Yes.
What the parties such as the PDP and the Patriotic Front, they would have their say. So we'll see what the campaign will look like over the next couple of weeks, and we hope that everybody keeps their campaign clean and we could have our disagreements in a civil way. And like you said, may the best man or the best woman win.
Yes.
All right, well, thank you very much, Biana, for that, and I hope that you have a good day.
You
and
too
you
as
have
well.
an excellent and enjoyable weekend.
You too.
Take care. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming to that time of our programming, and it's time for our birthday shoutouts. Yes, time for our birthday shoutouts. And first up, we have Mr. Alex Brown. Happy birthday to you, Mr. Alex Brown. We wish you God's richest blessings on your special day. We hope that you are surrounded with friends and family, and that you have a restful and relaxing day, and you get to reflect on all that God has blessed you with over the past year. And we wish you the best of luck and the best of successes in your coming year. Up next, we have Miss Dixie-Ann Burnett. Happy birthday to you, Miss Dixie-Ann Burnett. Wish you God's richest blessings. We know that your family and your friends have something special planned for you, and we hope that you enjoy your day, you enjoy your night, you have an exciting time, and we hope God's richest blessings over the next coming year and the next coming few weeks for you. All that you put your hands to, you succeed. And finally, we have Miss Tracy Laptis. Happy birthday to you, Miss Laptis. We wish you all the successes in your life. We wish that you have a relaxing and enjoyable day surrounded with family and friends and amazing gifts. Happy birthday to you. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, and we get back into the conversations. We want to start off the conversations we're going to have today, for you, Mr. Don Grant, who is the executive producer of the Tobago Fashion Coda, and he's coming in to chat with us about the Tobago Fashion Coda. And after that, Marcus Daniel will have a sports segment where he will be talking with Ms. Kiefer Devines, the president of the Tobago Rugby Football Club. And they're going to be talking about the Grand Slam 2025. So that is our lineup for you today. But before we get into that, we need to go and get some messages. We have to pay some bills. But before we go, help us out. For all of you viewing on the Facebook Live, on the YouTube Live, on AMPLIA 102, on 121, on 130, on Flow, do us a favor. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back after these messages.
You've heard a voice on the radio, seen her in your worship, and have sung her songs during your time of praise. Sinesh.
Everybody now, let's go.
Sinesh comes to Tobago for Melodies from Heaven on April 17th. The Showpark Complex alights with praise and worship from 6 p.m. for Melodies from Heaven featuring Sinesh.
I shall not want the Lord has
Samuel Maydess.
I can't be the only one who's excited to call your name.
Positive.
Me never could have changed my mind.
Blessed Messenger.
Give blood of Jesus over your family.
Renee Fortune and many more.
from my head to my feet.
Get your physical tickets now. Tickets are also available online at islandetickets.com. Visit TobagoFestivalsCommission.com for more info or call 639-4441. April 17th at Showpark Complex. Melodies from Heaven. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
It's the premier red carpet extravaganza. Tobago Fashion Coda is back with a bang, bringing with it quintessential style where runway meets rhythm. Come see the icons of Caribbean couture, showcasing the trailblazing fashions of Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago Fashion Coda 7 promises an unforgettable experience on the 18th of April 2025 at Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort, a premium all-inclusive fashion soiree where runway meets rhythm.
place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to you, our viewers, to the Tobago Updates Morning Show. And we have in studio with us here Mr. Don Grant, the producer of the Tobago Fashion Coda. Good morning and welcome, Mr. Grant.
Yes, good morning to you, Akron Nabi, and good morning to all our listeners and viewers and all of you wonderful people out there in the cyber world.
Okay, Mr. Grant, let's just get right into it. You are the executive producer of the Tobago Fashion Coda, and we know that Tobago Fashion Coda has been existing in this space for quite some time. Just tell us what was the inspiration behind creating Tobago Fashion Coda in the first place?
Well, that's a great question. Let me go back before we come forward, because Tobago Fashion Coda has always been meant to inspire and uplift the people here on the community of Tobago. We always had a theme. First of all, we came out, we said, look, we're beautiful, first of all. Secondly, we went to Tobago Love. We felt the love. We came back with Tobago Strong. Well, we got so strong, the fourth year, the theme was Tobago Power. After that, it was happiness, and the last outing, I think, was Smart, if I'm not mistaken. So this year, for the 7th occasion, we returned with the gala. We built a brand. We always kept very positive and very community-minded and Tobago first and Tobago focused. Let's face the fact, we need more togetherness here, more cooperation, more collaboration. Tobago's changed hands, what, about 30 odd years? I lost count, and who knows, probably about to change hands again, but we wouldn't go there. But it always seemed to be the spirit of a fight for Tobago for some strange reason. Something here on this beautiful island of ours causes people to want to adapt and adopt. Yeah, I mean, come on, let's face the fact, it's worth it. So we have to realize and recognize what we have here. It's tremendous opportunity, and we need to do more nurturing of the youth, in fact, to let them appreciate exactly what we have. I mean, look around you from what Tobago has gone through to what it is now. I mean, Flora was 1963, if I'm not mistaken? Yes. And from Flora to now, you've seen tremendous growth. I mean, please don't even go back that far. Are you better off now than you were, say, 20 years ago? You look around Tobago, I mean, there are no small wooden houses anymore. You're seeing, people thriving and doing well. And we just, an island of 60,000, if you count every goat and cat and all of that. But no, I'm just saying, business is about numbers.
Yes.
So if you look at the fact of 60,000 people on an island, I mean, how much business could you produce? Because of that 60,000, if you break it down, maybe 20,000 would be youth, 20,000 maybe your working class, and the other 20 are your seniors. So you will figure as to, an economic thriving country, what we depend on, tourism. And that's what Tobago Fashion Coda has been. It's been a tourism thrust. It was at the Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort on a Thursday night. It started when jazz was, the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we felt that we tried to encourage more heads in beds. We would take the Thursday and encourage people to come to Tobago for another night. So why should you come and spend more, pay another taxi, pay a hotel, and in Tobago? Well, we had to give them something to offer. So we gave them Tobago Fashion Coda, which has 5 disciplines, right? We're not just fashion. It's fashion, art, music, entertainment, and of course the fantastic cuisine of Tobago and what the Magdalena Grand has to offer. So that's basically why we decided to bring,
Okay. So I know that the event was well established and you all took a hiatus. Just speak to us as to why Fashion Coda has returned, in such great glory and gala, as you said.
That's an excellent question. I gotta tell you. So we built a brand. it's a high-end brand, let's face the fact. I traveled the globe. I'm a U.S. Air Force Vietnam veteran. I lived behind enemy lines for 6 months, survived, made it. And I've traveled the world. I speak 4 languages, been in Europe, modeling, Milan, Paris, Germany. I lived in Germany for 2 years. I speak German. So I've seen that international way in New York. I lived in New York for a long time. And that wealth of experience and information coming back home, I couldn't stand for something subpar or something that I, having learned and gained so much knowledge, couldn't come and impart to the people of Tobago, to my people.
Right.
So I had to come up with a standard of excellence that would show the best of what Tobago had. Because we have a lot here.
Yes.
And the youth need to be guided along those lines to bring out the best in them. So I thought maybe if we establish that fact and, we at the Magdalena, people say, why the Magdalena? Well, why not the Magdalena?
Right.
I mean, it's a beautiful space. It's 3, 4, 5-star hotel, and we deserve that. We entitled to something like the Magdalena and the Magdalenas here. Let's face the fact. Sandals was what's come here. I mean, please. The biggest insult to me that Prime Minister of St. Vincent Gonzalez said when he opened the Magdalena. The man opened up Sandals, sorry. When he opened up Sandals in St. Vincent, he said he would like to thank Tobago. I said, no way. That's his opening line. Could you imagine? Because Sandals was doing so well there. But let's not go there. Hopefully the Mars would come and, we'd have more space. We need to encourage the space. Look at the new airport. My goodness. This is world class. I mean, Charles de Gaulle in Paris. A JFK in New York. This is on par. Let's face the fact. And I'm proud. I'm Tobago proud. I'm Tobago first. And I'm Tobago foremost. So I'm going to make sure that what I do concerning Tobago is of the standard that's going to match the airport, for example. I like to see more private jets coming in here now. I mean, we could, handle you. We have jetways going up to your aircraft as opposed to walking on the tarmac and getting wet in the rain. I mean, those days are over.
So tell us, you have the setting of the Magdalena Grand. You said that is a premier event. What can persons expect in the setting of the Magdalena Grand? It's a premier event. What can persons expect from the show itself?
Okay, so it's all inclusive. It's a red carpet event for the very first time. Okay, what we did for the first 6 outings, we were around the pool.
Yes.
Now the fashion show in particular has moved into the main ballroom. So there's a long walkway alongside the ballroom that allows for this 100-foot red carpet. Actually, it's just incredible. And we're going to be walking the red carpet, like at the Oscars, like at the Grammys, like at the Emmys. We could stay right here in Tobago and produce a red carpet experience. So we're going to have different stations. I hope Tobago Updates will be at one of those TV stations, and you will be calling over the people as they walk the red carpet. All the people who are coming dressed to impress, let me tell you, because there's going to be giveaway prizes for the best dressed male and female. Last time, I think Just a Boy won. Carl gave away two free tickets, and he beat me, but I'll tell him again, this year it's not going to happen, but that's okay. It's personal. And yeah, so we giving you this nuance because the perspective has changed. Right. Being in an enclosed environment now, okay, fine. We have a captured audience, and we now have to produce and raise our level to, in fact, affect that change that we now have in the fashion aspect. After that, we go out into the greens where the actual food, the drinks. Yeah. We have AMCO. AMCO is on board as one of the sponsors. They introduce a coda cocktail, a special cocktail they made for Tobago Fashion Coda that is going to be very nice. It's involved prosecco on the top. I'm not going to. I'm going to let them. In fact, we're doing an art opening on the 10th of April at the Magdalena. It's free from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. We're featuring Martin Superville.
Okay.
He's a senior artist here
Yes,
in Tobago. Yeah. And there's an art gallery at the Magdalena. So that's the art in Coda. And we are going to be launching the Coda cocktail there. So I hope to see you there and cover the art experience because I think it's an intricate part of the whole that we plan to offer at Tobago Fashion Coda 7 this year, 18 April, Magdalena Grand, from 5 p.m. to 12 midnight.
So I know you're saying that it's inclusive of all different types of, let's say, senses. So you say it's fashions, arts, food, it's entertainment, those elements.
Correct.
But we know that fashion is the core of the event. So just tell us, who can patrons expect to see featured on the runway at Tobago Fashion Coda?
Okay, that's a very good question. The designers this year for both Trinidad and Tobago, because
Right.
you know, we link the islands via fashion, as you mentioned. Claudia Pegas, Neha, Karina, Eclipse Eli, Zaden Eastman, CLD. From Trinidad and Tobago, we have Daniel Clark, Fluorescent Black, Euphoric Designs. Ms. Darren Phillips is going to be doing swimwear that's going to be hot, let me tell you. Get ready. She said she's coming hard. I said, okay, fine, bring it on. We're ready for her. So you're going to have that aspect, like I said, in the main ballroom. Get your tickets early, guys. This event will be sold out, I promise you.
So tell us, I know Tobago Fashion Coda has been working in the Tobago space. What is the kind of impact that Don Grant hopes that Tobago Fashion Coda would have on the fashion industry in Tobago in terms of the stakeholders, the development of the stakeholders, that kind of thing?
Correct. Well, the impact has to be very positive. Actually, we're streaming live to the world, right? 8 HD cameras, giving, an international experience. So you can stay in London, you can stay in Paris, you can stay in Germany or in Milan, in New York, and expose your brand. Here's an opportunity. You can just link to the buyers of the world and your friends, your clients, and they can see your latest collection shown live here, right here in Tobago. Listen, we've got it here, you understand? And we have to develop and grow what we have. It's a homegrown product, and we're proud of what we have, and we know we can rival anywhere in the world. We'd be as good as any and better than many. That's face the fact. So what are we going to do? Right up to the occasion, and where it has come to the point that excellence is no longer the norm. It's exceptionalism, and we can do it right here in Tobago.
Okay, and I know that you have 2 Tobagonians designers on the card to be on the list, but for the future of Fashion Coda, you hope to have a greater synchronization, a greater integration of Tobagonian designers in the show?
Most definitely. Well, we've always had an equal amount. I don't want to say this here, but we reached out to other Tobagonian designers, and we would have liked to cooperate with more. I don't want to say we reached out to other Tobagonian designers, and they doing a show. I mean, I would say same as we plug the Tobago design, because I've always pushed that aspect. It's Tobago Fashion Coda, and there's a show coming up as well with Tobago designers, which I'm very happy for. 2 of the designs, in fact, is on that show, and it's good. More fashion, more industry professionals coming to the fore and showing what we have here. I'm all for it, and what we're doing as well as part of the Give to Tobago. Very famous makeup artist, who's our lead makeup artist in that of Kurt Cambridge Del Presh. Kirk is coming to do 2 free workshops for, beginners and immediate people interested in the makeup area. Now, makeup is huge, okay? He is the lead makeup designer for Disney's Hercules.
Wow.
This guy, yeah, he's going on tour to London with them. I mean, he's done makeup for stars. Michelle Obama he's made up, Oprah Winfrey and the likes. He did For Colored Girls Only, the play, For Colored Girls Only on Broadway. He's been the guy. So we're very happy to have him here at Tobago Fashion Coda as the lead makeup artist. So on Wednesday, the 14th of April, at the Magdalena Grand, we're opening up the class, the workshop to beginners at 6:30 to 7:30. And then for
Wednesday is the 16th. You mean Monday the 14th or Wednesday the 16th?
Monday the 14th. You are correct. Thanks for the correction. Monday the 14th is the workshop for the makeup classes. Go online and register for those workshops. It's free, and you could in fact come. The cosmetology students, the theater arts students, the beginners, just people in general who are interested in makeup can in fact get the knowledge and skills of this guy. And for the already makeup artists who are out there, come and see what a real professional makeup artist looks like and works like, and ask him all the questions, pick his brain and find out what in fact makeup and how far reaching this makeup business is, so it's very important to give to the community from Tobago Fashion Coda.
Yes, so that workshop is quite impressive, Mr. Grant.
Thank you.
But in terms of the Fashion Coda, are you all thinking about moving towards making any linkages with other fashion events around the world, whether it's fashion weeks or fashion weekends around the world, and making those sort of linkages to give greater exposure to the designers that we have in Trinidad and Tobago?
Most definitely. And that's happening right now via the live stream one. And what I've done in the past is that I've always tried to reach out to foreign designers. Okay, there are fashion houses in Italy right now that offer studies for young designers. I mean, you're talking about the Giorgio Armanis of the world, the Gianni Versace's, where you can come and be an understudy in their atelier and learn from the very best. These artisans, they're huge. Yes. And why not have a Tobagonian designer, for example, go to Italy and do an internship there for a year or two and learn from the very best. And that's what we've done. I brought a designer from the Kingdom of the Netherlands here. She didn't show in Paris. She left Parisian showing to come here to Tobago. We did a collaboration with a designer from Austria, a pas de deux, with then Dale Angus, which worked as well. So it's about collaboration. I reached out to China, in fact. The Chinese right now, they're ripping up the runways in Paris.
They have a lot of very inventive sort of fashion they're participating in right now.
Let me tell you what's happening in China. I mean, culturally, China, forget about it. It's like an undiscovered world.
Yeah.
You go there, you see the Chinese, they're coming. Okay, they're doing a lot of buildings all around and they're doing a lot of construction. But there's more to China than construction. Culturally, China is like just incredible. Listen, Usain Bolt, when he ran and broke the record in the Bird's Nest. The Bird's Nest was a stadium designed by a famous architect, AMPLIA, a Chinese guy that China brought back when they got the World Olympics to design this stadium. So when Usain Bolt walked into this magnificent arena, he said, "Oh my God." He just knew he had to raise his level to perform and break the world record as to what he did. So I'm saying China has cultural, the dancers, the kabuki dancers, they have a lot. So let's not just do construction with them. Let's bring their culture to Tobago as well. And that's what I'm attempting to do now via Tobago Fashion Code and other things.
Okay, so we talked about the fashion. You could give us a sneak peek into the entertainment that people can expect on that.
We in negotiations with the entertainment, and I'd rather not tell you right now because it's very, very tentative. But trust me, it's star-studded, and you will hear about it. Well, our girl Adana has always been with us.
Right.
I expected to open the show again. You know, she's fabulous, and full blown. Like I said, let me not elaborate on that right now until the contracts are signed. And
Yes,
what they do
I
here,
understand that.
I gotta tell you, I opened up entertainment halls at the very highest level. Madison Square Garden, Martha Montano saw 2 shows. Radio City, the Music Hall. I've done Barris there. Bourgeois I've done there as well. So I function at a very high professional level when I do this. I'm not new to promotions or production. I'm true to it, okay? And you have to have a contract in place when you're doing these functions.
Yes.
You can't tell me like, yeah, I come in, the date book. No. I'm a professional, and you have to have a contract before I can even advertise you. Because I'm not going to advertise you and then you don't show and then you affect my brand. No, it has to be done professionally at a certain level, and until that time, I will not speak on your behalf.
All right. Well, Mr. Grant, you've given us a lot to consider, a lot to chew on and marinate on concerning Tobago Fashion Coda. If you want, you could just, your closing lines, just look at the camera there and tell persons where they could get the tickets, what time, the dates, that kind of thing.
Yes. Well, on the 18th of April, Friday, we are going to be at the Magdalena Grand, Tobago Fashion Coda in its very best. Get your tickets early, guys. You get tickets here in Tobago at Ren Mars. You get at the Magdalena Grand. You get tickets at Progressive. I must plug them. They're doing a great job. You can get the tickets also at Barcode. In Trinidad, you can get the tickets at the leading designers. Eclipse Eli has tickets. He has 4 branches, 1 here in Tobago. He has tickets as well. Neha Corena, she's at the Hilton. Claudia Pegas has tickets at Long Circular Mall as well. Blanix 212, they have about 4 branches throughout Trinidad. And of course, islandetickets.com. So get your tickets early. This event will be sold out.
All right, so you heard it from the man himself, Don Grant, the executive producer of the Tobago Fashion Coda event on April the 18th from 5 p.m. is that?
5 p.m.
5 p.m. to midnight at the Magdalena Grand Hotel.
Let me just add, there'll be a Tobago menu. We're roasting 3 pigs on the beach.
Ooh,
we're roasting, yes, a blue food on the grill, live and direct, okay? Tobago style. Come out, enjoy, and have a time. Listen, you can't bust me bar, you can't eat me out. I tell you now.
All right, so he's challenging Tobagonians. Tobagonians love a food challenge. He's challenging Tobagonians, saying you can't bust his bar, you can't eat all his food. Buy your tickets, take up the challenge. Thank you very much for being on air with us, Mr. Grant, and we wish you all the best in your event. And looking forward, we hope you greatest of success in your future endeavors as well. So,
thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have to go on a short break. We'll be right back after these messages. But up next, we have Marcus Daniel, and he will be in with Miss Kiefer Devines, who's the president of the Tobago Rugby Football Club, and they will be discussing Sand Slam 2025. Before we go on the break, do us a favor. Share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back after these messages.
Welcome to the Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival on April 19th, 2025. We invite you to an evening of smooth rhythms and soulful music as the sun dips behind Buku Bay. Let all your senses be tantalized. Enjoy an array of seafood dishes, browse crafts and designs created by local artisans, and lose yourself in the soulful melodies of John Sakata, Brian McKnight,
It's undeniable that we should be together.
Fun at Bigford.
When the lightning quicker the waters and the waves roll and break.
Micaltasia.
Without you, my
And the best of Tobago's talent. Get your physical tickets now. Tickets are also available online at islandetickets.com. Visit TobagoFestivalsCommission.com for more info or call 639-4441. The Buku Seafood and Jazz Festival, April 19th at Buku Integrated Facility. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With AMPLIA TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with AMPLIA's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With AMPLIA, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. AMPLIA. Do more, live more.
You've heard a voice on the radio, seen her in your worship, and have sung her songs during your time of praise. Sinesh.
Everybody now, let's go.
Sinesh comes to Tobago for Melodies from Heaven on April 17th. The Shore Park Complex alights with praise and worship from 6 p.m. for Melodies from Heaven featuring Sinesh.
I shall not want. The Lord has
Samuel Madas.
You'll be the only one who's excited to call your name.
Positive.
Me never could have changed my mind.
Blessed Messenger.
Give blood of Jesus over your family.
Renee Fortune and many more.
From my head to my feet.
Get your physical tickets now. Tickets are also available online at islandetickets.com. Visit TobagoFestivalsCommission.com for more info or call 639-4441. April 17th at Shore Park Complex. Melodies from Heaven. Tobago Rhythm and Soul Festival 2025. Feel the beat. Embrace the calm.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Yes, welcome back to Tobago Updates Television. Good morning. It's already Friday, 4th April. Can you believe it? We are already in April in the year 2025. Firmly into the sporting segment this morning. And today we're talking rugby. Yes, rugby. You know, we cover all the sports right here on Tobago Updates Television. And of course, joining me online to chat about rugby this morning is going to be the president of the Tobago Rugby Football Club, Mr. Kiefer Devines. Some exciting things coming up in rugby. Good morning, Kiefer. You don't have us yet? Okay. So, of course, as we wait for Kiefer, I mean, we're going to talk some more sporting news coming out of Tobago. I'm sure you guys are fully aware that we have the Dream 11 Bago T10 Blast happening in Tobago at this time. We'll have started on the 22nd of March, and we're going to conclude this Sunday at the Shore Park Recreational Ground. And for those who have missed the matches, trust me, you have missed a treat. And we're getting ready to crown our champion on Sunday. And that champion team will walk away with $100,000. Yes, Christmas in April. And we already have one team that will have qualified for the final on Sunday. As the format indicates that the top team, they will go straight to the final. And then second and third from the 6 competing teams, they will play like an eliminator, and they will get to play against the final, the team that would have won or would have completed the preliminary rounds on top. This is Mount Irving Surfers here, one of the teams in the playoffs on Sunday. This is the team, 3 consecutive years in getting to the grand final. The Pirates B Raiders, of course, sponsored by Comfort Inn, a dynamic team. Of course, Nevin Stewart there, Evan Lewis dominating the run scoring chart. Over 400 runs scored by Evan Lewis, 2 centuries as well. This is a look at the standings as of yesterday. The Pirates Bay Raiders still unbeaten, but we had a game that was watched out yesterday, surprisingly, given the good weather that we have been experiencing in the tournament thus far. But yesterday we had a game, only game to have been abandoned due to the inclement weather that we experienced yesterday. So Pirates Bay Raiders unbeaten, the only unbeaten team, right? They would have actually secured a spot in the finals, the 3rd year running that they have gotten to the finals. Still yet to lift the trophy. All right, Mount Irving Surfers, they played their final game today against the Strawberry Snorkelers to complete their 10 matches. But they have already qualified for the playoffs. As I mentioned before, the top 3 teams, they are going to be playing on Sunday. The 2nd and 3rd will play in an eliminator. It's looking so far there's a contest between skiers and snorkelers to play against the surfers. That game will start at 12 noon and the finals at 2:30 p.m. So lots of exciting stuff done at the Shore Park Recreational Ground, and we expect that the finals on Sunday is going to be a really exciting one, where we expect the Pirates Bay Raiders in search of their first title after 3 years. They are going to be very, I don't want to say desperate, but you know, they're going to be coming hard to whoever they will be facing on Sunday. The surfers, or it could be the skiers, it can be the snorkelers. But so much to play for between today and tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to end the preliminary round of matches, and we expect that either the snorkelers or the skiers going to come up against the surfers on Sunday at around 12 for the eliminator. And let's look at the leaderboard. The leaderboard, of course, as I mentioned before, Evan Lewis, 425 runs, West Indies international player. He leads the most runs table. Of course, and we have Evan Lewis again with 35 sixes. 35 sixes, wow. And most wickets, Ricky Jaipal out of the Surfers. Ricky Jaipal, 13 wickets, including a best of 5 wickets for 5 runs. I mean, who takes 5 wickets in a T10? Outstanding stuff there from Ricky Jaipal, left-arm spinner, representing the Mount Irving Surfers. And then in total, in terms of sixes, I told you guys you missed a treat, 291 sixes. I mean, you go to these T10s and T20s to see boundaries, and those who would have been there from the outset, they'll have seen 291 sixes, 35 of those hit by Evan Lewis. A top score of 107. I mean, that was a crazy but exciting knock by Evan Lewis. 107 off 38 deliveries. Insane stuff there by the left-handed international player. a total of 7 catches. I can't forget the fielders at all. Samuel Rupnarine, 7 catches, because I've seen so many catches put down by all the fielders. So good stuff there by Mr. Rupnarine. 7 catches taken by him. But as I said before, you want to be at the Shaw Park Recreational Ground on Sunday. In fact, get down there today. We have 2 matches on today. Only $20 to get in to see exciting stuff. One starting at 12 today and the other at 2:30. And then the preliminary round ends tomorrow before the grand final on Sunday. Exciting times here in Tobago where cricket is concerned. Still awaiting Kiefer to join us. What we're going to do, we're going to take a short break and then we're going to come back with Kiefer Devines, president of the Tobago Rugby Football Club, talking about the upcoming breakfast and the Grand Slam or Sand Slam. That's what they call it, Sand Slam. So let's stay tuned for yours. But don't forget to share the live. Take a short break and come right back.
Welcome to the launch of Tobago Fashion Coda 7. We are so happy to be here.
It's the premier red carpet extravaganza. Tobago Fashion Coda is back with a bang, bringing with it quintessential style where runway meets rhythm. Come see the icons of Caribbean couture, showcasing the trailblazing fashions of Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago Fashion Coda 7 promises an unforgettable experience on the 18th of April 2025 at Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort, a premium all-inclusive fashion soiree where runway meets rhythm.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Spring. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
TNTech is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TNTech bills, request new connections, and more. TNTech, powering the nation into the next generation.
Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
It's a different type of thing down there. Man, we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Hi viewers, welcome back, and thank you so much for staying tuned to Tobago Updates Television. Into the sporting segment, I think we finally have President of the Tobago Rugby Football Club, Miss Kiefer Devines, online with us. Kiefer, morning.
Morning to you, Marcus. Good morning to the online viewership.
Good morning,
Trinidad
Kiefer.
and Tobago, our diaspora, and by extension, the world. Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. I mean, it took a while to get you on, but of course we had to get you on to talk about the exciting news coming out of Tobago rugby football. We're talking this morning about your developmental meet and of course your brunch. Let's share with the viewers what's that all about. I know it's on tomorrow.
Okay, so tomorrow at 10 a.m. at the Signal Hill Secondary School field or compound, the Tobago Rugby Club, we are hosting a brunch. It starts at 10 a.m. and that is in aid of ensuring that the teams, particularly junior teams, are able to participate in all the upcoming activities for rugby in Trinidad and Tobago. So after the brunch at 10 a.m. is followed by a developmental meet where we'd see the retired players coming back to impart some knowledge onto the youth. We also have the executive of the club, parents for the athletes who are in school, and just everybody who is interested in rugby at the moment. I would have also reached out to persons who have been messaging me constantly over time to join rugby so they can come and see what rugby is about. And for all persons interested in sport and rugby enthusiasts, the development meet is really for everybody. Yeah, so we're hoping to host this tomorrow. The development meet should start at 1 p.m. again at the Signal Secondary School field, just to see everybody in one space, see what we need to work on to ensure that we have more players making the national teams.
Yeah, and you mentioned that Signal Hill is now your home. I know you guys. You were based at what, Colonel Hall? So you guys have moved to Signal Hill?
No. Actually, no. Signal Hill Secondary School field is what we're utilizing. That is one of the schools that is heavily involved in rugby at the moment. So we're using their compound to host the development meet and the brunch. So that is not our rugby home. Currently, we are still training at Cutler Hall.
Okay.
And Monday and Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m.
And before we get into the discussion about what I'm seeing there, some sumptuous delights there for the brunch, tell me about the upcoming meets that you mentioned there that you guys are raising funds for.
Okay, so currently we have been engaged by teams and so on in Trinidad for our teams to come to Trinidad to play. So we have the Fatima Sevens upcoming. We have a Rugby Easter camp as well, and the Shakonia Sevens. These are most of them are 2-day events. So we want to ensure that our youth players get the opportunity to play not only in Tobago but also against their counterparts in Trinidad. Of course, to see what level they are at, and so that they can just play rugby. Because the aim of everything at the end of the day, I always say, is to play rugby. Yes, we raise funds. Yes, we socialize and so on. But the ultimate goal is to play rugby. So these fundraisers would aid in accommodation, transportation, food, etc.
Yeah. And what have you guys been up to? Have you participated in any kind of competitions this year? Tell me about some of the players that are currently representing Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay, so currently we have Shane St. Louis, who is now the coach of Signal Hill Secondary School. Congratulations to him. He has been doing a fantastic job. And we have Mr. Micah Stafford as well, who is currently training with the national team for the upcoming Rugby Americas North Tournament and Panama Games.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So these are two very young, aspiring young men. So we want to say congratulations to them and good luck. Currently we have as well, Marcus, our Sand Slam. So this is our second year. And Marcus, I want to see you here this year. It's taking place on the 27th and 28th of June 2025. And as you know, we are trying to make Tobago the destination for beach rugby in the Caribbean, or as a matter of fact, in the world. Yeah, this is the niche we're trying to build. So that is what we have upcoming for the club as well.
Yeah, fantastic. And would you say that you guys are finally getting the sport of rugby to really grow in Tobago?
I want to say finally, this is sort of a rebirth, Marcus, because rugby has been a very big thing, a big deal when I joined rugby in 2014. Back then we had the Tobago International Sevens that would have seen at least 32 teams locally and internationally on the Tobago pitch. Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's an introduction, but it's more of a revamping of rugby on the island.
Oh, that's fantastic. And about tomorrow, it's open to members of the public, or is it only for persons who would have been participating in the sport of rugby?
No, it's open to everyone, because rugby is the type of sport that you don't know you like until you see it, Yeah, Marcus? So just as myself, I would have seen rugby being played on Shore Park about 10 years ago, and I was automatically and immediately intrigued to the point where I would have dropped netball, I would have dropped basketball, I would have dropped track and field, every other sport that I was involved in, and I would have gravitated to rugby only. So yes, we are inviting everyone, parents to the students who train at the various high schools throughout Tobago. We are also encouraging you to come out and see what your kids have been doing. Come out and see what this rugby is about. Come out and see that it's not an injury-prone sport, but a very enjoyable sport that the kids do truly enjoy and love.
Yeah. And I'm seeing also you have a brunch on tomorrow, delicious brunch menu. And I like the way how you guys are segmented it in terms of breakfast in bread. So explain that. Okay, we'll name them. Breakfast in bed, my kitchen. I like the play. I like the play here. So okay, let's go through. Let's go through there. And for persons who may not be able to attend tomorrow's event and they may want to participate in the brunch, delivery available as well.
Marcus, currently we haven't sorted out a delivery option. So for now, it's pick up at, as I mentioned, at Signal Hill Secondary School. We just wanted to make the breakfast somewhat a little different from what we were accustomed doing. But we also understand there are the persons who like the traditional taste. So we're giving persons the best of both worlds. Breakfast in bed, of course, inspired by the menu. Because, I mean, breakfast in bed should be something exotic, something nice, something a bit over the top here. And then we have the traditional kitchen or my kitchen, which is the coconut bakes and the salt fish and that kind of thing. Yeah, so you have 2 plates here on breakfast options. So it should be exciting and of course always delicious, and the box filled to capacity. Yeah.
Fantastic. And is there a number persons can call if they are interested in participating and of course also purchasing the breakfast?
Yes, of course. So the flyer has a number, but I would still repeat. It's 787-5472. That is our Vice President, Miss Janelle Wright. You can contact her. And I guess I could also give persons my number. I'm the president of the Tobago Rugby Football Club, Kiefer Devines, 382-4110. So please call, place your orders, and show up.
Yeah, and just before we let you go, Kiefer, I mean, any final or departing words? Just repeat again what time you start tomorrow and venue.
Okay, so the brunch starts at 10 a.m. at Signal Hill Secondary School compound, followed by a development meet where we play rugby, we socialize, we coach in some cases, and impart knowledge, especially for the older retired rugby players. That should start at 12 p.m. So it's 10 a.m. Signal Hill Secondary School compound. Tomorrow, April 5th, 2025.
All right, fantastic.
Yeah,
so go ahead.
No. Yes, Marcus. So I was just going to say, I just want to I use this opportunity to thank all the persons who have really been assisting us in pushing rugby in Tobago, the THA, members of the THA, all the sponsors who would have pledged to make this Sand Slam in June 27th and 28th a success. We would have received a lot of commitments. So I just want to thank the Tobago and Trinidad entrepreneurs, and thank you so much for believing in rugby and for wanting to see rugby go as much as we do. Yeah.
Hey, fantastic. And definitely we're going to have you guys back to talk about this Sand Slam 2025. That's the flyer. It just looks very exciting, and I'm expecting that it's going to be bigger and better this year. Kiefer, thank you so much for being with us here this morning, and I trust that tomorrow's event is going to be a huge success, and they're going to get the necessary funds to ensure the continued development of rugby in Tobago and Trinidad and Tobago by extension. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much, Marcus, and thanks for having me.
Not a problem at all. Always. So guys, we've been chatting there with Ms. Kiefer Devines, President of the Tobago Rugby Football Club, talking about their developmental meet tomorrow and brunch, all in aid of the development of rugby, young players. Not everyone interested in the cricket and the football and the netball and the basketball, but as she mentioned before, rugby is not the dangerous sport that we think it is. So get out of tomorrow and you can see all the youngsters and some of the returning players going through their thing there tomorrow. All right, so guys, this brings us to an end, the sporting segment. But don't forget, today is nomination day in Trinidad and Tobago. You forgot? It have an election in 24 days. But today is nomination day, and Tobago Updates, we're going to bring all the action live from around 9:30 a.m. Stay tuned to Tobago Updates television. But before we get to nomination day at 9:30, it's going to be Adana. She's going to return with Good Morning Tobago right after the break. But of course, don't forget, share the live, share the live, share the live. Have a fantastic day.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
Celebrating anniversaries is important to fostering connections and acknowledging growth and shared experiences, as well as setting a foundation for future goals and aspirations. Around the region, they are known as the leading disaster management agency. Here in Tobago, we call them TEMA, and they recently celebrated their 27th anniversary. One activity was a health and wellness day.
We are accustomed doing stuff like this with every institution that require our service. Here today, we are here to assist with the staff of TEMA in ensuring that they maintain their health and the importance of health, importance of knowing your numbers in terms of your blood pressure, your sugar, your weight, your BMI, to make sure it is in line with your height and your weight. The importance of checking your blood pressure is to ensure that you don't end up with stuff like a diagnosis with like heart attack or stroke. Also, that could also help us to send you also to the health center to do blood testing for stuff like your cholesterol and other blood work, so that we could determine if you are newly diagnosed or if you have been seen about your health. So we have the blood pressure testing, we have the sugar testing, we have the dietitians here who would do your weight, your BMI, and tell you how much body fat there is. We also have dental here to take care of the mouth, which is also important because of the bacteria and stuff that can cause different diseases to your organs and stuff like that.
TEMA workers share their love, experiences, and appreciation for their job.
Today for the staff, we are having a health and wellness program to commemorate our 27th year anniversary here at TEMA.
I am the GIS specialist at TEMA, so that's a Geographic Information System person. We deal with mapping as well as evacuation routes, evacuation maps, data elevation models, risk assessments, etc. I'm also attached to the planning department, so we do a lot of analysis as well as gap analysis as well as reports. So we basically are the brains somewhat of the organization. For me, my time here during this period would have been very great for me. Would have been able to respond to the oil spill as well as Tropical Storm Karen as well as other emergencies. This would have given you a lot of knowledge as well as wisdom in terms of how natural disasters actually operate, because reading about it is one thing, but actually being able to assist persons as well as to respond to it is something different. So it comes like you learn the theory and then have to do the practical aspect of it. Life here is really great. It's a family environment. Yes, we may have our disagreements, but it's a high pressure environment, but we always have the ability to bounce back from or whatever would have impacted us, and that shows a lot of resilience within the organization. So cheers to 27 years.
TEMA's mission is to coordinate a network of agencies and individuals within the island of Tobago to direct their efforts to maximize preservation of life and the protection of the property in times of disaster.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
You're viewing Tobago Updates Television, your exclusive gateway to Tobago, broadcasting the beauty of this island paradise to the world.
morning, and welcome to GMT Good Morning Tobago. It is Friday, the 4th of April, 2025, and we're coming to you live from the Port Mall here in Scarborough, Tobago. I am Adana Kambi. I know you're used to seeing me at 7 a.m. for the morning show, but we had to switch things up a little bit this morning. But I am happy that you are here with us this morning as we have the conversations that you want to have. But before we get into all of those conversations, I'm going to give you your news in 90 seconds. It's nomination day. Candidates across the country will officially file their nominations to contest the 41 seats in the House of Representatives ahead of the April 28th general election. This process, often lively and attracting the attention of the entire country, involves filing of nomination forms, party endorsement, and paying the required $5,000 deposit. Parties expected to contest include the PNM, the NTA, Patriotic Front, APP, and a UNC-led coalition comprising of PEP, Love, OWTU, and COP. While in Tobago, options include the PNM, the TPP, the PDP, Patriotic Front, IDA, APP, UTP, and one independent candidate. Chief Elections Officer Fernasi Scope confirmed that the Election and Boundaries Commission is prepared for Election Day. Tobago Updates will bring live coverage of the proceedings in Tobago. Prime Minister Stuart Young announced yesterday at a post-cabinet briefing ex gratia payments would be made to families of divers the late Kazim Ali Jr., Yusuf Henry, Rishi Nagasar, and Faisal Kurban, who died in the 2022 Paria pipeline tragedy, as well as to the lone survivor Christopher Budram. Young said the cabinet approved the 1 million payments per family, while insurers of Paria Fuel Trading and LMCS are yet to resolve liability for the incident. Young stressed the gesture is not an admission of fault, but a recognition of the tragedy, noting that no sum can truly compensate the families for their loss and trauma. And that was your news in 90 seconds. So we're going to have conversations this morning on GMT. We're going to be talking about topics that are relevant in the local spaces. And in fact, on a global scale, our first conversation this morning is something you want to be a part of. You want to get an understanding of it, and you want to know how can this benefit you. What am I talking about, ladies and gentlemen? I'm talking about AI. I'm sure you've heard AI this, AI that. What does it mean? Where did it stem from? How do we benefit? And how do we use it in our daily lives to improve our standard of living and the way we do business, commerce, and interact with each other? And in studio this morning with me, we have Mrs. Shelly-Ann Batiste. She's the manager of BDU, and Mr. Jason Arthur, who is also a representative of the Business Chamber of the Tobago chapter of the Business Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, and thank you very much for having us.
Of course, a pleasure having you here this morning. And we're talking AI.
Yes.
You know, things are rapidly evolving and things are changing by the second, and information is at your fingertips. But how do we use what is available to us to ensure that we can maximize and reap the benefits that are there? So we want to talk about AI. We know AI means artificial intelligence, but we want to get into the actual meaning. What does this mean? What does artificial intelligence mean? And I know sometimes people think the fear of humans are going to be extinct and AI is going to take over the world and there's going to be no need for me and you and everybody else. But is that really true? And how do we use AI to our benefits?
Thank you very much. So the theme of our symposium is AI, the end of work as you know it. From the business development unit, our perspective is that of ensuring efficiency. How does AI fit into what I do as a business? If we're talking business development, then we're talking improvement of services, of systems. How do I apply artificial intelligence to what I do to ensure that I get maximum benefit, maximum output, everything? How do I use artificial intelligence, for example, to automate what I already do? And Mr. Arthur will expand on that in a little bit, because people often confuse automation, digitization, and artificial intelligence. So that is one of the topics that we will cover to dispel the phobia of artificial intelligence.
And I like how you kind of differentiated the 3 different categories. And Jason, I want to come to you where that is concerned. That we could get a little breakdown in terms of the confusion where people think that all 3 are the same, and to kind of define what is artificial intelligence, what is digitization, what is all the terms that are involved in artificial intelligence, and how we can benefit from each of the applications.
All right. Good morning again. All right. So, you all called a number of terms there. So let's see if we can take them piece by piece. We'll leave artificial intelligence for last. So we have digitization and we have digitalization. Okay. So let's say you have an organization and everything you have is in hard copy, paper. If you take the paper and you scan it, you have just digitized the paper, right? So now you have that digitally. If you previously had people coming in to get that document from you, and you move from that to now allowing people to go online and get that document, you have now digitalized. So digitization is simply the document. Digitalize is referring to processes. So typically what would have to happen in any organization is you would first have to digitize so that you could facilitate the digitalization, right? So one is stuff and one is process.
Right.
Right. So let's put that aside. Artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? Fundamentally, it is a computer that can do things that we previously didn't think computers could do, like think and reason and work stuff out like human beings, right? That's all artificial intelligence is really. Now, some machines specialize in different versions of that kind of stuff, but ultimately it's that almost sort of a cognitive thing that a machine is doing that a human would do. All right. Now, with respect to artificial intelligence, you have the confusion is automation and AI automation, which is actually something we're going to sit and break down for people with examples on the day. So I kind of don't want to steal a thunder from it, but there is a little bit of a confusion there, and we're going to make sure that when you leave, you understand the fundamental difference between the two.
And it's very important to understand the differences, especially also to dispel the fact that humans will be replaced by machines. I mean, I don't think humans will be replaced. I think basically the tasks might be substituted. Am I correct by saying that the tasks will be substituted and made easier and more worker friendly? Is it a situation where humans will form a different relationship with a machine based on the AI applications?
Right. So I will go out and say this, and I think a lot of people are trying to sugarcoat it. Humans will be replaced by artificial intelligence in certain areas. It is not no if or no ands or no buts. It absolutely is the case. But that's not the issue. The question is, if that is to happen, how are you going to position yourself as somebody who is doing the type of task that artificial intelligence can do? How are you going to position yourself for when that time comes? And that's part of what we're going to cover on the day.
Because it's very important. I don't want to be obsolete. You don't want to be, as a human, you don't want to be obsolete. You don't want to be left out in the cold and thinking, oh my goodness, what do I do? Yeah. So at this symposium, tell me some of the things that people will come to understand. I know you gave us a little overview as to what they will kind of understand, but I want to talk a little bit more in terms of why should I really come? Yes, I will know what AI is and I will know what I could do, but why should I really come? What are some of the benefits that I will derive from coming to this event?
Okay, so let me jump in from a business perspective. For our clients, for persons in business to understand and appreciate artificial intelligence. So let's take, for example, you're doing Beneball, how do I introduce automation, artificial intelligence into my systems, into my processes to, one, increase production, secondly, to minimize in terms of faults, because we know human error, might put it wrong, set of ingredients. How do I integrate IT on a whole? Artificial intelligence, digital. How do I integrate that into my system to ensure efficiency of operation, consistency? You know, that's one of the challenges that we have. You go to a restaurant, today the food, and then next day kind of. How do I integrate that? Do not be intimidated by it. Jason said humans will be replaced. Yes. But we also need to understand and appreciate we will all, and that's probably where we differ. We will always have the need for humans. Let me give you a prime example. So we have the banks and the telephone operators that you go online and you are trying to interact. But there are people who want the human touch. You want to hear the human voice. So yes, there might be some processes in the back end that can be automated and operated, but there are persons who still need the experience. So it is not for people to be afraid and completely sold out about, no. How do I embrace it into what I do to, as I said, improve my efficiency in operations?
So just to sort of piggyback what Shelly-Ann is saying, Shelly-Ann and I are not at odds. But I want people to understand and not sugarcoat it. When I say human beings will be replaced, it's not that you won't have anything else to do, but there are absolutely processes that we simply will not need a human being to do anymore. In the industrial age, there are things that human beings don't do anymore, right? You have machines doing those things. So it's the same kind of thing. So I think people don't like to hear it, right? But I'm not one to say stuff just because people want to hear it. It is an absolute fact that that is what's going to happen. But that is not what needs to be our concern. Our concern needs to be prepare yourself.
That's right.
That's what we need to be doing. We don't need to be just afraid. Prepare yourself.
And you know, in this experience, the symposium, is it a one-day symposium, and is there going to be any type of follow-up? Because I know a topic like this, in my mind, there are questions that I want to ask. I want to unload all my probably insecurities, your uncertainties. How do I fit into the grand scheme of things, which you might not be able to absorb in one day? So is there going to be any type of follow-up, any breakout workshops or anything that will kind of help people along the way to continue with the conversation and to see how they can align themselves with what is happening where AI is concerned?
Okay, so definitely there will be a continuation of the conversation. We have started the conversation to spark people's interest. But in terms of the actual format of the symposium, it is actually going to be very interactive. So you're not a sit down and talk to you. It is an application based so that you understand and have firsthand. But following up, we will continue the conversation with the Chamber of Commerce, because from the business development unit, we recognize that there needs to be synergy between the two organizations. We are basically serving the same cadre of businesses. So how do we pool our resources to ensure that we have that continuity?
One of the things, just sort of with respect to that question, I think on the day itself, we are certainly going to, based on the feedback, get a really good idea of what should be the actual next step. I think to kind of make that decision right now probably isn't the best thing. So Shelly and obviously her team and I will be there, and we'll kind of see where people want to go.
In terms of the presenters or whoever is coming to give the information and do the interaction, what is the type of, what types of topics are they going to be talking on? And I know you said there will actually be interaction. So people will be using the machines, they'll be using the app, they'll be using how is it going to be rolled out?
So let me make sure I clarify. In terms of the presentation, I'm the main presenter. I have a couple of other people who will come and talk about, their experience or whatever the case may be. In between all of that, we will have people taking quizzes, right? Answering certain questions. We'll have a few giveaways in between. we're going to have a panel discussion at the end, right? You have your division of finance secretary who's going to be there with the panel discussion. You have your division of education secretary. There's one other person who's going to be there. I'm not going to say too much right now.
Sound like an international superstar AI type person.
We'll see. But a lot of what we're going to talk about is not just going to be AI. I really want to talk about how to think about this stuff, because again, you don't want people leaving there just totally fearful and okay, where am I going to be in the next year or two or whatever the case may be. So you're going to have a little mix of that in there.
And that's exactly it. You really don't want people leaving thinking, oh my goodness, what's going to happen to me in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years, I need to start packing up and leave Earth. I mean, that's not where we want to be. Of course, we want to ensure that people are equipped and empowered and they understand what AI is and the relationship that we can have with AI and how we can maximize the benefits. I mean, even the youngest coming up now, they already have that type of interaction, the curiosity. I hear some of my nieces and them telling me, Auntie, AI. I mean, what do you know about AI? And giving me a whole lecture on AI. So maybe for the next one, you might want to call them in as well. But it's really interesting to see where we are now, where we have come from and where we are, and to think of where we can go and the things that we can do using the AI and using all the technology as it continues to evolve. I see you excited to say.
As you're talking about where it can take you. I remember I went to Dubai and I was literally blown away. I think they have gone completely. Yeah. So they have trains that are fully automated, AI controlled. There is no human actually running it. So every 5 minutes, that train pulls up. And I remember having the conversation with those persons who were involved. And I was like, so what happened to the people who were working? Said, no, what they did is they learned how to operate it. They learned how to program it. So as Jason was saying, yes, humans will be replaced, but you can also be replaced in terms of not being in front, but being in the back. How do I benefit from this AI that is going to take over the world? How do I benefit? How do I stay in the game and not get left out?
And that was going to be my next, line of questioning. Not questioning, but a statement, because as you're saying, humans are going to be replaced, but we still need somebody to run the AI.
That's right.
Right? The time might come when you might need somebody to run the AI, but in the meantime, while we still need somebody to run the AI, let's learn the thing and get acquainted with it and make sure we understand how we're going to benefit. So tell me, when is this event taking place? How can persons register?
Okay, so it's taking place on the 8th of April, that's next Tuesday. Did we mention it's free? It is absolutely free. We have food. Yeah. Free food too. Free. We have a couple spaces available. What we want you to do is to log on to the Chamber of Commerce. There's a link there, registration link. You fill it out and that's it. It will automatically send you a confirmation. So it is Tuesday, the 8th of April at the Shore Park Cultural Complex from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., 2:30, 3 p.m. We expect that it will be very engaging.
Interactive and engaging.
The website address.
Right? So
TobagoChamber.org.
Okay.
That's it. TobagoChamber.org.
Yeah,
it's right there on the very first page. And just follow
And I know you said there are a few, you still have a few spaces available. Who is the target audience? Who are you targeting for this event?
I would say primarily, because we're coming from the Chamber's point of view and the business development point of view, primarily business people. However, we are looking at people in government, because they're the ones who are going to be making decisions for the future and policy. We're also looking at employees, and we're looking at careerists, right? People who are in a career and they want to move forward. All of those groups need to be involved in this. Business people, the politicians in charge, policymakers, and not just the politicians, because you have administrators and so forth. They are not politicians, but they're also part and parcel of policy making and certainly policy execution. And employees and career professionals.
So listen, if you want to get involved in this, if you want to know, you want to be in the know, you want to be aware, you want to know what's happening, you want to learn, you want to be a part of the conversation, and you want to know what's next. This is taking place next week, Tuesday, the 8th of April at the Shore Park Complex from 10 a.m. You can register on the Business Chamber website. I will get the correct address for you shortly. I think it's Tobago Business Chamber.
No. TobagoChamber.org.
TobagoChamber.org. So you log on to TobagoChamber.org. You look for the application form, fill it out, and you get your confirmation, and you can be in this space. Get in the know.
That's right.
Get the information. Information is power. You know, when you know something, you know something, right? And it can work in your benefit. So get there, get the information, 10 a.m. to 2, maybe about 3 p.m. So book the entire day, take the day off from work if you have to, because I'm telling you, your work that you want to go to on that day might be replaced by the same AI. So you want to learn a few things. Get down there, get the information, ask the questions. That is the place to ask the questions. That is the place to be curious. That is the place to just lay it on the table once the opportunity presents itself. And of course, you will have that interaction with what is happening. Prizes. I heard that there are prizes, there are giveaways, there's free food, and the event itself is absolutely free. So you want to go there and make the maximum benefit from what is available to you. In closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
I just want to encourage persons. Do not be a spectator. Don't sit and and wonder what happened, but actively participate in your own destiny. Actively participate in what is taking place around you. This is free, absolutely free. There are no attachments. Come and get the information.
Jason, anything?
I will say as much as I have to say on the day.
Right, that's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it all here on Good Morning Tobago. I almost said the morning show, but this is Good Morning Tobago GMT. You heard it here this morning from Mrs. Shelley-Ann Batiste, Manager at the Business Development Unit, and also Jason Arthur, a representative of the Tobago Business Chamber.
No, Tobago Chamber of Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry
and Commerce. That's right. Tobago chapter. That's right. That's right. You got it right here on GMT this morning. So they'll be there at Shore Park Complex and they are waiting for you. You want to be a part of that. We have to go for a short break before we continue conversations this morning, and we do hope that you could stay with us. So whether you're viewing on our Facebook live stream, YouTube channel, AMPLIA 102, floor 121 or 130, we welcome you, we thank you, and we do hope to see you right after the break.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash in transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
It's the premier red carpet extravaganza. Tobago fashion coda is back with a bang, bringing with it quintessential style where runway meets rhythm. Come see the icons of Caribbean couture, showcasing the trailblazing fashions of Trinidad and Tobago. Tobago Fashion Coda 7 promises an unforgettable experience on the 18th of April 2025 at Magdalena Grand Beach and Golf Resort, a premium all-inclusive fashion soiree where runway meets rhythm.
TEMA is pleased to advise that its Roxborough Service Center has reopened. Starting Monday, 10th March, customers can once more visit the Roxborough Administrative Building to pay TEMA bills, request new connections, and more. TEMA, powering the nation into the next generation.
Want to get better? Where to start? What kind of exercise to do? What to eat? How to get restful sleep? Need a doctor to search for root cause? Look no further. Come to Majuba Hill Lifestyle Center Foundation at our Wellness Center in Goodwood, or Food Hub in Darrow Springs, Scarborough, or Doctor's Office in Goodwood and Darrow Springs. Contact 49 Swift 4979 438.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
welcome back. Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago. I am Adana Kumbi. Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue conversations this morning. As you are aware, it's nomination day in Trinidad and Tobago. We have our general election scheduled for April 28th. Are you registered to vote? Well, if you are not and you are not sure what to do, we're going to have that conversation right now, right here in our studio. We speak with Ms. Pamela O'Geese, and she is the Assistant Chief Elections Officer of the EBC. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning and thank you.
Of course, a pleasure having you in studio with us this morning. And as you know, we're in election time, and a lot of persons are thinking or wondering, how do I vote? Where do I go to vote? Where my polling station is? What is a poll card? And so many questions that people have leading up to the elections. But before we get into all of that, I just want to kind of give our viewers an overview of who the EBC is and what their role is in the election, the general elections.
All right, so the EBC is the organization mandated with three main tasks. And that is the registration of voters, the conduct of elections, and the delimitation of boundaries. And those are our main tasks. And so now the feature one in the air is, of course, the conduct of this general election. Most of the staff comprises of public officers, and we have 5 commissioners who are appointed by the president of the day. I know that there is always talk about public interference, but unlike other ministries or departments, you would observe that we have no line minister. There's no line minister. Right. So in essence, there's really no political interference with the organizations and its operations.
I'm good for that I'm happy for that clarification there. Yes. And of course, to reiterate that the EBC is run by public officers, like members of the public service. They do the day-to-day running of the EBC.
Correct. And the chief election officer is also a public official.
Right.
Yes.
So we have that clear. That's in the clear. We know who the EBC is. And now we want to know, in terms of the general election, how do you manage the operations? We're talking about, I can't remember the term you just used, but the operations of the election on election day. How do you put things in place? How do we get up to election? What is the lead up to election day?
So there's an election cycle, as we would term it. And so the cycle commences with the issue of the writ again by Her Excellency to returning officers. So they are appointed. So we have 41 returning officers, 1 for each constituency. What happens after that, of course, is the training. Again, we operate under the Constitution and in accordance with the Representation of the People Act, Chapter 201. And so it speaks to training, definitive training for returning officers, their clerks, their staff. It speaks to training for all persons who would be operating for poll day for us. All right. So that series of training for the poll day staff is on the way. It's happening as we speak. As a matter of fact, yesterday we concluded the training for trainers for Tobago, all right, and it's continuing throughout the country as we speak. The preparations for poll day polling stations is also in progress. So we identify all our polling stations. We identify where we are, what we need to do to improve some of the polling stations. So we cater fully for the incapacitated electors. All right, that is something that we focus on all the time to make the day a smooth and the exercise, one that is easy for the electors. Poll cards, etc., would be issued at a later date, and persons, of course, look forward to getting these poll cards. So the one issue we have, and I guess I could use this medium to ask persons to open this poll card. Open the poll card so you can see where your voting station is, your polling station. All right, so people come with it all intact at the station. All right, so the purpose of that is really to make you aware of where you can vote. We also have a registration lookup on our website, and you can go there and you'll see your name. Once you put in your name, your date of birth, you can see exactly where you're voting, that kind of thing. So we try to make it available in all forums.
Right. And Before we get into the actual day itself, I know sometimes people might have concerns in terms of the poll day staff. What is the process in selecting persons for poll day and even for training? How do persons become a part of the whole training process and the selection process, ensuring that they understand the policies? Because sometimes, I mean, poll day, anything could happen.
Yes.
A man could forget his ID. A man could try to say, well, I am John Smith, when he's actually James Smith, or his name might be John James Smith. So how do you select and train the police staff to ensure they understand all the policies to ensure a fair and smooth election process?
Interesting that you would ask that question. So at yesterday's training, for instance, let me back up a bit. So the selection of persons would have had to apply online, and there were two options. One to apply to work as poll day staff, and the other to apply to work as a trainer. So we trained trainers yesterday. And what is important is that in all aspects of the exercise or the voting process, there are always contingencies for persons once they qualify to vote. So in other words, you come to the polling station without your ID, your name is on the list, we have a registration record of that individual, and so there are affirmations that persons can do, and these affirmations speaks to situations. So there is one for a person without an ID card. All right. So you have a picture there. You can look at the individual. You know, you can ask questions. Can I have your date of birth, please? You know, that information is there. So there are always contingencies once you qualify to vote. And these are the things that are part of the training. We do scenarios, you know, so that persons are fully aware that in all situations, right, with the exception of no record, no name on list, right, with the exception of those two, that persons are facilitated.
And you know, when you encounter those types of challenges, as I mentioned, anything could literally happen on poll day. You know, what is the next step for the poll day staff? So you have a situation like that, the person's name not there, you can't find any records of them at all. What does the poll day staff do? The whether it's the red line or the green line or the vote, but whoever it is that is on duty, what do they do next? Because this person can now accuse your staff, your poll day staff, and say, well, he didn't let me vote, she didn't let me vote, I came, and she telling me my name not there. What do they do to ensure they follow the procedure, cover their back, and ensure, you know, the smoothness of the transaction?
So that is simple. We have presiding officers who we deem the managers of these stations. And once they have exhausted all possibilities, they then advise the individual, one, to visit the returning officer, who would have an island-wide list, or they advise the person to visit the registration office. Now, these things happen when people do not pay attention to their current status. So, let me bring you to our qualification, or the date for qualification, sorry. All right? So the date to qualify, to really have to be able to vote in this election, that date was the 29th of March. That's gone. And so that means that if during the period, the 20th to the 28th, which we call electoral registration period, you may be familiar with it. There's usually a countdown. You have 8 days, you have 7 days, 6 days, that kind of thing. That is the last period in which one has the opportunity to regularize the information. You want to do a change of address, you want to do a change of name, anything you want to do at that time. That's the window of opportunity. And on the 29th of March that passed, that was the day to qualify. So once young persons turned 18 and they were registered prior or even just before on the 28th, you would qualify to vote. So the point to take here is that persons who turned 18 anytime after the 29th of March would not qualify to vote in this election. And so we have such persons, right? We also have persons who upon registration did not qualify by residence. So you needed to be at the place you state you live at least 2 months before the qualifying date. And so such persons would have registered and become non-electors, right? If during the period you did not check your status, so we have lists that we post at the offices. There are also two lists in each polling division, right? So you could, those are advertised, so one would know where to find their names, all right? So you look there, and if you didn't see it, then you needed to have come into the office, Yes. So we have the contingencies in place, and we would then refer you to the office. The presiding officer would refer the individual to the office or the office of the returning officer, where we would be able to tell you the reason why you are unable to vote.
So the person who, because of residence, does not qualify, that person will not be able to vote at all?
No, not in this election.
Wow. So you see, people, why it is very important to ensure that you have your information is also very important to ensure that you listen to the information that is being given, being shared, and to ensure that your information up to date. Because I know sometimes people migrate, they might move from Castara and head down to, let's say, Crown Point, and they have not gone to change their information.
Oh no, let me be very specific. Your registration remains as is until you make a change. So you come to us. So if you move from Castara, as you just said, to Crown Point, and you didn't notify us of that change, your address remains at Castara.
Right.
So you will be able to vote once you were eligible before. You will still be able to vote at that location.
Right. And if you wanted to vote in Crown Point, you will not be able to vote in Crown Point. You have to vote in Castara because that's where your registered address is. Right.
Yes, your registered address is at the former place. And one of the things we've introduced, I think within the last 3 months or so, is proof of address, because we recognize that persons are quite unwilling to change their address. All right. And so there is this proof of address that is now required. So if you come to renew your ID card, which has a life of 10 years, and you come to renew your ID card, you are required to bring that proof of address. If you've lost your card, you want to have a replacement, you must bring in that document. And so it gives us a better control with respect to a person's claim of where they live or reside.
Yeah, we have to, we let's do the thing. Let's do the right thing.
Correct.
As much as we can, let us get the information so that we can make it easier, not just on the polling staff, but on yourself as well, because you don't want to turn up there and anxiety because I don't have this and I don't have that, and my name not there, and I don't know what to do. So pay attention to what is required of you as an elector, so that when you get there, you have your ducks in a row. So you don't have that, I really want to vote, and they make me not vote. And then, of course, the other electors now, they start to get uneasy and they start thinking, oh my goodness, what is happening here?
And probably uninformed.
That's right. So you have to pay attention to what is happening.
Yes.
I know you said without, you can I vote without an ID?
Yes,
I know you said there are things in place. Can I vote? What is if I don't have an ID, what do we do?
So you come to the polling station, and the professional poll day staff will, of course, ask you information so they can look. So, for instance, the first thing they would ask you is, what is your name? They would then peruse the list. Once your name has been found, they then open our unit register. And there should be a registration record within that would be the resemblance of the individual standing in front of them. The name, of course, they would ask you perhaps what is your date of birth, so that they can confirm that it is consistent with the records we're seeing. And once that is done, then you just do an affirmation of identity, and the process continues smoothly.
Right. And what about first-time voters? Is the first time you turn 18 on the 28th of March, and so you qualify, you're ready to vote, right? What are the expectations of that person, and what are they supposed to do, and what type of support is given to that person?
Again, the staff of the polling station will guide you. And so whether it's a first-time, continuous, once you have your ID card and your name is on the list, it's smooth sailing. You're really in and out within or less than 5 minutes. So the confirmation that your name is on the list with your ID card, they see that your name is on the list. They do the comparison of the person on the standing in front of them with the ID card. Then the process continues smoothly. In less than 5 minutes, you're out of the station.
I like election day. I really like the process. I like to follow the process. I like to know what's happening because I think it's so exciting for us to have that type of opportunity to have your say won and to see how the process is done. It really is an exciting time. So I really do hope that persons are on the list of electors. You're registered to vote. You're good to go, and you're going out there to vote, to let your voice count, because sometimes we talk after the fact. So get out there and make sure you do what you're supposed to do.
And if I may, just to add, that one of the things that all parties or candidates or independents, one of the things that is in place by law is that they can witness the whole day experience. All right. So they usually would appoint sub-agents who are present before the start of the poll. So as you know, poll commences at 6, but there are certain activities to be done before 6. And so once these agents are present, it then adds the level of transparency to the entire exercise, the process. All right. So, we do encourage them to send your representatives, your sub-agents, etc., so that they could be a part of the whole exercise.
That is something that is absolutely welcome, because you really want to ensure, the fairness, the visibility and all like that. Earlier you mentioned the poll card, and I want to go back to that a little bit to emphasize the purpose of the poll card and when does a person receive their poll card?
So poll cards would be available and distributed anytime after the revised list of electors, which would be anytime within a couple of days. All right. So poll cards are issued to the address that we have for you. And therein lies the trouble. So the case in point that you mentioned earlier. So you registered at Castara. You are now living in Crown Point. The poll card will go to the address of Castara, and you may never receive it. So one, it's a waste of funds. It's a waste of resource, right? And so you understand. So the synchronization is not there. However, if you are at the address that you gave us, it will be delivered by TT Post. They have committed to that exercise. And so you receive your poll card. You open your poll card. We want to impress upon the electors to open your poll card, and it bears the information you require. So it gives you your consecutive number on the list, your full name. It gives you where you are supposed to vote. And that's the purpose of the poll card.
Most importantly, where you are supposed to vote, because a lot of persons turn up at a specific polling station.
Yes.
And what about polling stations or venues where you have multiple polling stations in the same building? For instance, like a school, a big school, a secondary school, and you might have polling station 4890, 4891, 40. How do you determine where? How is the person assisted in terms of where to go?
Right. So your poll card would be very specific. So when we have splits in stations, your poll card would state whether you are at polling station 1 or 2 of the split. So for instance, if you make a number, let's say 4900, and if there's a split in that, you would have 49001, 49002. Your poll card would be very specific. But more than that, in places where we have multiple polling stations, we appoint persons we refer to as information officers, and they are to assist electors as they come in, particularly those who come without a poll card, so they don't have a clue where they're going.
Right.
And so these information officers, again, have been trained to assist. So they would usually have a master list and be able to direct you exactly where you should be. So much that if you are not on the right compound, they could tell you, oh, you need to be at the Methodist school down the road rather than the Catholic school.
Right. And in terms of providing that support for persons with disabilities, what are some of the things that are put in place to ensure, let's say for instance, a blind elector, what is put in place for that person to vote?
So we have a template that we use for persons who are partially blind or blind. And such an elector can have the option of coming with a companion to assist him in the voting exercise. He can come with the companion just to escort him to the polling station, and then we can take it from there. So the templates allow this person to feel the ballot paper. And whilst it's not in Braille, the process is properly explained. And so the individual, the name of the candidates, the parties, all of that is explained so that you have a clear idea of where you're voting. And if you opt to have your companion vote with you, that is fine. If you opt for the companion to remain outside, then the presiding officer will assist you in the process, not necessarily to see whom you voted for, but to guide you along in that process.
Right.
Yes. And just to add, the Consortium of Disability Organizations, we have included them, and over the last couple of elections, they've been a part of us, of the training. And so they communicate their expertise to our poll day staff. So they're also exposed to that, all right, so that they could aptly adjust to anyone who needs some assistance.
It sounds like if the EBC is ready to go for this election, and that leads me to my next question. How confident do you feel in terms of preparedness? I mean, I know the election bell rang quite, suddenly.
Yes.
So how prepared do you feel at this point in stage in terms of ensuring you execute a really good and smooth election?
Well, as I said, there's a cycle that we work with. And because we had this bare minimum 35 days, curtailed by holidays, needless to add that. But we know what is to happen, and we have statutory deadlines. All right. So today, for instance, is nomination day. And we know this is going to happen today. And so right after the end of this, all successful candidates or representatives of parties, this would have concluded, or this exercise actually starts at 9 to 12 and then 1 to 3. And upon the conclusion of that, and the entire process really concludes after the deposits have been made at the Treasury, right? So it doesn't end at 3,
That's right.
right? The service ends at 3 with the individuals. And so upon the conclusion of that, we have the task of going through all those documents, ensuring the accuracy, etc. And then we move right into the printing of ballot papers. And that again is another task.
Right.
All right. So we have that to treat with. We move right into applications for persons to vote as special electors. That ends today as well. So those are statutory deadlines that we know. So we have put all the measures in place.
Right. So you're ready to go. You're ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have done the necessary, you've done your due diligence, and you're ready to go. Is there any additional information that we haven't spoken about that you believe our viewers must be aware of?
Yes. And so you mentioned polling divisions and the splits. All right. And which really I would want to highlight particularly for the persons in Tobago. So the Commission would have identified several high-volume polling divisions, right, across Trinidad and Tobago, and which for the conducting of an election sometimes poses significant challenges in operations. But nevertheless, we do the split stations that you just mentioned. However, what we do is cut polling divisions so that the electors can be comfortably accommodated at a location rather than have the splits, which again, as I said, we manage. And, although these complications are mitigated in every election, the Commission embarked upon this exercise, this subdivision exercise on a phase basis, commencing with Tobago. All right. So what does this mean to the elector? So we would have sent persons, and up to yesterday, I met one such individual. So we would have issued letters to persons saying that your polling division, which was 001, is now 002. Right. And this would have come in the form of a A108. So it's a letter to the person. But what I want to stress to persons is, or emphasize to persons that, three things. One, there is no change in the electoral boundaries. All right. So the boundaries of the original polling division remains the same. Right. So and that subsequently says that the electoral district and constituencies remain the same. All right. So that's the first thing. There is no change to your elected representatives. So you would have voted in 2020 in the general election. Your representative remains the same. You would have voted for the Tobago House of Assembly in 21. Your representative remain the same. And lastly, there is no impact on the electoral boundaries of upcoming general elections. So in other words, the 2025 election will be conducted based on the review of the constituency boundaries report dated March 24th. All right. So this subdivision exercise has no impact and is separate from this general election. So there's no impact. So the concern for most persons who would have received this correspondence is, where do I go to vote? And in most instances, it's the same location. Yes. So just to assure members of the public that the subdivision or the notification you'd receive really is just to say, instead of 001, you are now in 002. Wait on your poll card. So when you get your poll card, it would be very specific. And as I said, in most instances, your polling division, the place that you vote, your location remains the same.
enough information. I mean, we have the information, and just look out for TT Post. They will deliver your poll card, they will deliver your letters and all the correspondence that you would need to ensure that you are able to vote on election day, which is April 28th. Today is nomination day in Trinidad and Tobago, and so of course the nominees are heading out. I'm just receiving information that, you know, candidates are heading out to the locations, and of course Tobago Updates Television will be bringing you live coverage this morning from 9:30 a.m. and I know Miss Ogis, you have to get on there and get on with the day's work today, yes, to get what has to get done to ensure that we have a smooth election. Thank you so much for coming on this morning, giving us that information and bringing that measure of clarity, and of course for me that measure of comfort as well, yes, knowing that we'll be going through a smooth, a clean, fair election process, and that the support is there should the need arise, should somebody Definitely. Not be certain, that we have the support there as well. So thank you so much, and all the best for this election, general election 2025.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to stay with us. We'll be back at 9:30, but this is where we end GMT this morning. 9:30, remember, right here on Tobago Updates Television, we'll be bringing you live coverage as the nominees go, they make their payments today, and they submit their forms, because it is nomination day. Exciting times in Trinidad and Tobago. A really, really exciting general election, if you ask me. We have, I think, at least 7 political parties in the race this year. So, I mean, we got to look out to see what is happening there, and we will bring you all the details. So stay with us, and I'll see you back at 9:30 a.m.